And everything else that we've studied is going to be controlled by pituitary. The pointer is on a follicle. It's late developing, maybe early mature. But the follicles in the ovary produce estrogen. 26 was estrogen. 27. The ovum scene contains which number of chromosomes? I think it's the 2N, and then it goes through the rest of the division and becomes the N number. But I haven't checked that out, so I'm not going to ask that till I don't remember. And that's important. We will get to it when we get to the development system later on. So skip that one. All right, this one is 28, I think. 28. Name the hormone produced by 54. 54 is the thymus gland right there. And the thymus gland produces the hormone called thymosin. The structure that produces it, that's the B part, is the Hassel's body or Hassel's corpuscle. The action of thymosin is to activate the T lymphocytes. Okay, now we get to the small intestine. This represents the small intestine model, and you have these villi. Okay, fluid number 7. This is the lymphatic capillary. All right, that would be lymph. Actually, it's going to take in digestive fats too. But this is lymphatic capillary. Goes to bigger and bigger lymphatics. Eventually, the fluid drains back into circulation. Name the vessel which drains the fluid into the bloodstream. This will move on back and go up and finally drain in on the left side through the thoracic duct. Thoracic duct. Went from the feet, the legs, the abdominal region. This is in the abdominal region.
The interthoracic.
And the upper left quadrant drain in through the thoracic duct. Lymph from the upper right quadrant drains through the right lymphatic duct. 30. During the stress response, does more fluid or less fluid pass through number 5? Number 5 would be the blood vessels. During stress, your sympathetic nervous system shifts the blood away, so it would be less fluid, less blood. Why? It's because the sympathetic nervous system reroutes the blood to the heart and the lungs and the muscles and away from the digestive tract. During stress, really, you have the shift. All right, 31. 8A represents the placenta. The placenta is a temporary endocrine gland, and it's going to produce growth-like hormone, ACTH, FSH, estrogen, progesterone. Okay, and I just named 3. All right, 33. Name the one hormone produced by 8A which will sustain or keep the pregnancy if the mother's ovaries stop producing the sustaining hormones, and it's progesterone. Progesterone stops the contraction of the uterus. You studied that with your horses a little bit.
What did you say another hormone was for 32?
Which number? 32. There's okay. On your handout on endocrine, it should say something about the placenta. A type of growth hormone, thyroid stimulating, almost all of them. ACTH, also estrogen and progesterone. But the one hormone which keeps this uterus from contracting and expelling the fetus is going to be progesterone. So after 3 months in pregnancy, if the mother's ovaries stop working, the placenta produces enough progesterone to maintain the pregnancy. Which one? Progesterone is the one hormone produced that maintains the pregnancy, produced by the placenta. Identify this organ, small intestine. During stress, this is less active because the sympathetic nervous system takes the blood away, and so it stops acting.
That's so funny.
Remember, during stress, you have less blood flow to the GI tract. Okay. All right, identify the yellow bumps here. This is part of the sympathetic ganglia. These are primary sympathetic ganglia. Yeah. I'd go back to your autonomic nervous system, page 279, I think. Those are your primary sympathetic ganglia. Neuron 1 comes here and then goes on to the collateral ganglia. Increase in that. Okay. Over here on the heart, we're looking at the heart here. All right, 32 is the pacemaker. 36 is the AV node. And that was question 37 was SA node. Question 38 was the AV node. Number 39. A. Which division of the autonomic nervous system speeds up the action? That would be the sympathetic division. B. Which division slows it down? The parasympathetic, particularly by way of the vagus nerve, which is the 10th cranial nerve. That was number 40. Which cranial nerve slows it down? The 10th cranial nerve, the vagus. 41. Question 23 is the pineal body. The pineal body is going to produce melatonin. Pineal body is also known as the third eye. And the pineal body is going to send hormones over to the hypothalamus to start puberty. Okay, number 43. Secretions of this gland can bring about what process in both males and females? Puberty. They start puberty. Identify D. D is the hypothalamus. The hormone produced by 23, melatonin. And then 43 was it brings about puberty. Okay, 45. This is red blood cell. It goes through several stages of division. It starts off, it has a nucleus, and then it pushes it to the outside. The last stage of this that has a nucleus is called the normoblast or the erythroblast. I gave that to you in notes, I think, yesterday. Today is Tuesday. Yeah, that was 24 hours ago. Lots happened. The normoblast or erythroblast, last stage with the nucleus. It pushes it out, still has some endoplasmic reticulum. It's called a reticulocyte. And then it goes on to be mature. Number 46, there are 250 to 260 million molecules of blank in one of these cells. That's hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. What element is chelated in each porphyrin ring in the molecule? Well, there are 4 porphyrin rings in each hemoglobin. The porphyrin ring has in the center iron. So the element is iron that's inside, held in the center. And what is the major function of this cell? Is to transport oxygen. Transports oxygen. 95% of your oxygen is carried in the red blood cell. Okay, for number 49, picture 3, you have 3 cells, 3 leukocytes, E, M, and B. Now there's some red blood cells in there too, but these are leukocytes. The E is the eosinophil, M is the monocyte, B is the basophil. All right, question B on 49. Which one transports histamine away from the affected area in an allergic reaction? It's the eosinophil. It takes histamine away and also takes toxins away from if you have any kind of infection of parasites. Question C of 49. Which one of these 3 cells, E, M, or B, releases heparin as it circulates in the bloodstream? It will be the basophil. It's the lowest level of all circulating white blood cells, but it releases heparin to prevent spontaneous clotting of the blood. Okay, 50. In general circulation of the 3 leukocytes shown in picture 3, which would be the most abundant? Remember your sentence. Nellie loves men, especially Bernard, so it would be monocytes, M. The least would be the basophil. All right, this is in the male. Name the 2 anterior pituitary basophil hormones which stimulate structures in organ 1. Organ 1 is the testis. Within the testis you have seminiferous tubules and interstitial cells. The seminiferous tubules are stimulated by FSH. The interstitial cells are stimulated by what? ICSH, interstitial cell stimulating hormone. ACTH is the adrenal gland. You've got to go back to those. ACTH is the adrenal cortex, but in the testes you have interstitial cells, so it's interstitial cell stimulating hormone, ICSH. Name the hormone produced by Leydig cells. Leydig cells are the interstitial cells, and they produce testosterone. Okay, same kind of question, 53. Name the 2 anterior pituitary basophil hormones which stimulate structures found in organ 1. Organ 1 is the ovary. All right, the 2 anterior pituitary basophil hormones would be FSH and LH. And then name the hormones that can be produced by structures within 1. Well, 1 is the ovary. the follicles can produce estrogen, and then the corpus luteum, which could be within the ovary, will produce estrogen and progesterone. 54, the two hormones would be estrogen and progesterone. These are ovarian hormones. The hormones from the pituitary that stimulate this will be FSH and LH.
The CL produces estrogen and what was the other one? The corpus-
Progesterone.
Progesterone.
And so the two ovarian hormones are estrogen and progesterone because they come from the ovary. Name the 55. Name the posterior pituitary hormone, which causes 8 and 7. 7 is muscle tissue. 8 is the fundus. That's the uterus to contract. Well, it's oxytocin. Oxytocin. And that comes from the acidophils. Am I saying that right? No. Posterior pituitary doesn't have acidophils. I said posterior pituitary. The posterior pituitary has ADH and oxytocin is oxytocin. Another name for the ADH is vasopressin. Okay, but 55 would be oxytocin. Because oxytocin causes the uterus to contract. It also allows the mammary glands to release the milk. Okay, here's the good mannequin here. Identify the spleen by number. It's this gray structure right here's number 1. What effect does a high level of cortisol have on the size of the spleen? It makes it shrink. It atrophies it. Or it makes it shrink. Makes it get smaller. And that happens during stress.
So doesn't cortisol normally make other stuff have the Cushing's disease where it?
If you have too much of it, yeah.
Okay.
Over a long period of time. But it could also, we could have said glucocorticoids. Cortisol and cortisone.
Right.
Glucocorticoids, I just
So
used
both of them shrink the spleen.
after a period of time. All right, from the kidney, here's the kidney. When the red blood cell count drops, a hormone produced in the kidney is released. Maybe I can get back up. Aging is not for physicians. Okay, when the red blood cell count drops, there's a hormone produced by the kidney that stimulates the myeloid tissue, that's the red bone marrow, to produce more erythrocytes. Name the hormone. Erythropoietin. It's in your notes from yesterday.
How do you spell that?
Erythropoietin. Erythropoietin. It's going to cause erythropoiesis, which is formation of red blood cells. Okay, now, here's the mammary gland. Name the anterior pituitary acidophils hormone, which causes 4 to secrete. This 4 is the mammary gland, 5 is the nipple. But the glandular tissue inside the breast, mostly it's fat, but the glandular tissue inside is going to secrete in response to prolactin. Prolactin. Prolactin comes from acidophils, which are chromophils in the anterior pituitary. Number 60, name the posterior pituitary secretion, or hormone, which allows the secretions of 4 to be released. So you have to have oxytocin to release the milk. So prolactin is needed to make the milk. Oxytocin allows it to be released. Oxytocin, OXYTOCIN. All right, then, the green structure here is the lymph node. Oh, there are 2 of them. There's another one right there. I just didn't even see that. There are 2. Identify the green over structure, see here. Lymph glands. All this time I didn't know there's 2. Okay. Where's that one? All right, here we have the red marrow found within a living organism. This is not living, of course, but in the bone marrow here, and this is in the head of the femur. So down in here it doesn't after it's grown, but in the head of the femur. All right, the red marrow is called myeloid, M-Y-E-L-O-I-D, myeloid tissue. The process, number 62, myeloid. The process of blood formation within A is called hemopoiesis. Hemopoiesis for all blood. And then the process of red blood cell formation is called erythropoiesis. So hemopoiesis just means all the blood. process of making all the blood, and erythropoiesis is making just the red blood cells. And then over here for the